Hey guys, this is Let's Talk Human podcast. I'm your host, Darius D. McKinney, and I'm out here on a bright and early morning. I'm kind of getting the bag and working on my money and everything like that. But I told myself why everybody's going out to run and do exercise and all that stuff in suburbia, I was going to come out and kind of correct a little bit of a podcast that I did yesterday. I'm trying to handle this a little bit better here. Where I had my actual headphones rubbing against my zipper metal and stuff, and it kind of sound crazy with a little static and stuff. But I wanted to kind of get a clear mindset out to our societal goals and the overall bigger goal of economics and being able to beat the system, beat the new age of the elitists trying to leave us all in the background and everything like that. So I'll get more into that in a few minutes. But what I wanted to do is kind of set a mindset, because every time we listen to social influencers and we listen to podcasters and they always try to give you advice on leveling up and everything like that, they give you good tidbits and good philosophical bantering of how they think your mindset should be or what your goals should be and everything like that. But the truth of the matter is that they tell you enough to make you kind of get it, but at the same time you need to do some one-on-one sessions with them. You need to sign on to their Patreon or sign on to their memberships or sign on to some kind of seminar or something like that in order for you to really put it into motion. And I think that does a disservice to us, because that allows that most people that will actually take any messaging, any way of really truly leveling up, it would be that they would need to kind of do so much buying into the let's say buying into like the members or like the squad or something like that. And how do we put a mindset for individual people? I don't care if you're working at McDonald's, Popeye's Chicken, all the way up to being a traveling nurse or a construction worker or whatever. The understanding that how do you battle the sinister and shady stuff that our government is doing, that high society is doing, and people with money, because this ranges from black, white, Asians, Hispanic, Indian, anybody in this country that's got money and they got well-to-do. The way that they're expanding their money is to take from everybody that can't defend themselves. So the people that can't defend themselves are average people. The people that work in $15 an hour to $25 an hour if they're lucky and everything like that. Those are the people that's busting their ass, working hard, and you need those people to do the specific jobs. But the level up culture says that those people are insignificant and we should only have them as renters and they should never have kids and all that stuff. That's how people that's making over $100,000, $200,000 and up, that's how they're looking at the average person. They're not going to tell you that because it's bad for their bag. They rather you pay for their memberships and their Patreons and all that stuff. And I have no problem with that. I want people to level up. I have no problem with people being entrepreneurially to their mindset, being capitalists, to take whatever they can get from individual person. I'm a filmmaker. I need people to spend $15 to $25 to come and watch my movies, come to my premieres and stuff like that in order to contribute to what I'm doing and everything like that. So I need you guys to hit the like button, hit the follow button, and subscribe. I need you guys to do all of that. So I'm not saying I don't want people to do that, but I'm just saying I don't think that pure humanity and just social, just being an actual human being should cost. And right now, you can't monetize off of how to keep society like something to expire and grow from and everything like that. I think about 80% of our society now is about who's got the bag, haves and haves not, do or die, weak and the strong and predator and prey. I don't think it's about like a gray area. When you have a social influencer tell you about a gray area, they're lying to you. They're trying to manipulate you. They on their everyday behavior, how they move, how social influencers, big podcasters, the news media, the actual conglomerate, high society, economically wealthy celebrities and everybody, the real estate moguls and all that stuff, they're not living in no gray area. It's black and white with them. They're dogmatic about how they do it, how they move. They won't put people in their circle that if every single time they talk to them, it better be purposeful. That's how they're moving. And they're telling us to keep ourselves open and like just be spirited about like interacting with each other. And it stops us from being very absolute about the decisions and the movements that we make. But for them, they're absolute. Their circle is small. And the people that they hang around with is people that are doing, that bringing purpose and financial gratification to them, or purposeful gratification to them, where they can find a way to utilize them or something. Okay, so I wanted to kind of, I know that was a rant, and this whole thing is pretty much a rant, but at the same time, I wanted to kind of get you into the mindset of what the elites are not going to tell you. They're going to kind of keep it away from you, and they're going to make that money and have you trying to figure out how's they really doing this on a day-to-day basis? How did Oprah get to where she's at? How did Jay-Z get to where he's at? He born from the projects. How did P. Diddy get to where he's at? How did LeBron James get to where he's at? I don't care if you're a basketball player, a football player, a musician, a producer, a movie star, a real estate big mogul, a banker, a high-end lawyer, a podcaster, the social influencer that's got megas of people. How it got to them is they came into contact with a big amount of funds. They either had funds back them, or they had some kind of funds that could get them a jump off point. This jump off point could range from, in my research and what I'm seeing it's $250,000. But I'll be realistic, 25 to $250,000 to about $1 million is how most people, they got the economics, they got the liquid to even put themselves in a situation where they can even buy the microphones for their podcast and the cameras for their podcast and the setup for their podcast, or put themselves in a really good production for their album and for their single and a couple songs that they're gonna make, or their mixtape or something like that, or they kind of put a half, like a 50, 30 to 50 to about $80,000 in an independent film or something like that. And this is, I'm talking about the people that are kind of making $250,000 a month almost, or every quarter or something like that, or every year. Or, they're able to take out a loan, or they got a scholarship, or their parents was able to pay for $100,000 to $200,000 of college and education in the college years and stuff like that. They got a jump off point. I'm giving you random and very general kind of different ways that people have an economic jump off point. But my point is that most successful people, that I'm talking about people that's making like 6 figures or more, they had an economic jump off point. This is what the average human being is missing. They don't have the parents to jump them off with a $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 to just jump them off, buy them their first house when they get married, and then they just kind of start to make better economic decisions from that real estate equity value of what they have, and then it just grows the entrepreneurship spirit or whatever they're trying to endeavor and expand their day-to-day life with, their economic situation that they work with. It's easier when you can jump off with like $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 in your pocket or in your equity value, that you can kind of go say, hey, I want to expand my entrepreneur spirit in this way, so I'm gonna take out a loan and put that into this, and then I'm expand out. It's better to do that. Most people, they gotta work like 10, 15 years, 20 years just to pay for the roof over their head, pay for to even understand their lifestyle, or even get in a different mindset. So you're in your 20s, you're 21 years old, and you're just kind of busting your ass till you're 30 years old, 35 years old, and then you say, you know what, I know what to do. I want to kind of go on my own now. I want to make something, build something for myself now. And then you do that, and then that's when you put like $250,000 in a restaurant, in a salon, a clothing store, or media, or construction, or real estate, or flipping a property or something like that. That's where that comes from. So most people are not going to get what a lot of people that are making 6 figures or more had in their 20s. Like they came into like 21 or 26 or 28, and they already had actually held and even had $100,000 that they spent, they gained, and they lost. You get what I'm saying? Or they kind of just was in that lifestyle. So they got a better mindset. So when they get in their 30s, they actually not blowing a lot of money, or not even blowing a lot of money. They're not taking an unnecessary risk or trials and tribulations of economic growth, or being an entrepreneur or something like that. They don't have to go through that trials and tribulation, because when they were in their late teens or their early 20s, they already had money, 6 figures coming across their hands, and they able to go out and party and blow it. But at the same time, that's the lifestyle that they're living in their late teens and their early 20s and stuff like that. That's not going to be a formula for the average person. Excuse me for having my hand in the way. I'm trying to, doing like a workout here, holding this thing up. I got a lot of tools I should have brought with me, but that's another situation. But anyway, so in that situation, that's why I wanted to kind of say, it's a lot of social influencers, they don't tell you about the very first leveling up that they had access to in their life. They don't even want to talk about that. And truly, that's part of the equation. That's part of the process. That's part of how they got to where they got to. And they're trying to make it look like, oh, everybody can just do this, come out of nowhere and make 6 figures and get to a high economic situation. And they can't. But I'm going to say the whole point of this episode and this podcast and this little rant that I'm doing is to say, I kind of researched it. I kind of dealt, even my trials and errors in my own life. I kind of see what we need to do individually. I don't care if you work at Walmart, McDonald's, like I said, all the way up to being a nurse and a construction worker and all that other stuff. In order for us to get over the hump that we're economically like the social influencers, the podcasters, the high-end podcasters, some of the low-end celebrities and stuff like that, and like the real estate moguls and stuff like that. And when you're kind of putting yourself in a possibility to make 6 figures, this is how the average person mindset needs to be, and how they need to kind of get themselves economically, okay? You have to somehow figure out. Now, this could be you and your wife, you and your girlfriend, you and your family member that you're close to, or you and a business partner, or you and a actual close friend that you guys living in a normal life, but you want to level up to a better economic situation so you can have kids and all that other stuff. It's you and someone else, or even solo, just you. You're going to have a daily income of about $300 to $600 per household. Okay, so per unit. Okay, so $300 to $600 a day that you gotta make. Okay. Individually, you'll be making like a $300 a day. If you're able to make $600 a day, that's pretty powerful. Okay, so that's gonna get you where you got a job that's giving you about $37 to $75 an hour. Okay, that puts you in a situation with $37 to $75 an hour. You're making about $300 to $600 a day. And then you're kind of making, if I'm not mistaken, it's about $6,600 a month to $13,200 a month. So that's $6,600 to $13,200 a month if you're making $37 to $75 an hour, giving you $300 to $600 a day. That's giving you about $79,000 to $158,000 a year. That's where the average person should be. You don't have to do 600, but you got to do 300. You got to find a way to do 300. It's life and death not to do 300. The game that this country, the elitists, the bankers, the stock market, the plan they got for you, the plan that's already set up, they actually about 30, 40 years already in this plan. The plan that they got for you is that you will never own a house. You will always be a renter. You will never have equity value to yourself, and you will be chasing your tail for 60, 70 years if you're lucky. That's the plan that they got. And the only way out of it is you got to try your best to make about $300 a day. Like I said, to really hit it hard, unify with somebody, unify with your mate, get into a mindset with a family member or a partner or a friend or your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever. Get into a mindset to make $300 to $600 a day and do whatever it takes to get that amount. And I only say this, it's not easy. I struggle with this stuff myself, and when I'm kind of doing whatever I'm doing, but under no circumstances can we be victims to this sick-ass society we have. Our society is broken. It has no humanity in it. It has no empathy in it. All empathy that's said, that's communicated, is fake. It's not real. It's all bullshit. Okay? So the best thing you can, from anything that might come at you, the best thing you can do is make about $300 to $600 a day. Okay? As a unit, as a household. Individually, you gotta try your best to do whatever it takes to make $300 a day. Okay? That's equivalent of making about $37 to $75 an hour. $300 to $600 a day, giving you about $6,600 to $13,200. $13,200. Let me make sure I say that right. $6,600 to $13,200 a month, giving you $79,000 to $158,000 a year. That's the fight for everybody. I don't care who you are, where you come from. That's the fight, okay? To try to get that amount, okay? Now the bigger goal, I'm talking about the take over the world goal that puts you into every room that you need to be in. I don't care if it's from billionaires in the room down to like just helping like a whole neighborhood. You need to be able to make about $300 an hour. I know that's crazy. I'm just telling you the bigger goal. I don't want you to focus on it, but I want to make sure that this podcast is worth time and energy for people in the future. So if you can put yourself in a place where you're making $300 an hour, that gives you the power to make about $2,400 a day. $2,400 a day, if I'm not mistaken, it gives you about $52,800 a month. Put you into a place where you're making about $633,000. I think I don't know if I got my numbers right. $633,000 a year. Okay, so I say that again. The bigger goal when you're in your 50s is something like that, late 40s, early 50s or something. The bigger goal is to put yourself in a situation where you're making $300 an hour, giving you $2,400 a day, giving you $52,000 a month, giving you $633,000 a year. I don't know if I'm right with those numbers, but I'm pretty close to it, okay? So that's the bigger goal. That's where nobody can tell you anything. That you can find ways to put yourself in the rooms with millionaires and billionaires and make them part of your social circle with that kind of money. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be a billionaire. You could be that kind of person making that kind of money where you're making $600,000. Let me make sure I want to look at my notes and make sure that I'm right on this, because I didn't look at it before I started this. Yep, 600. Yep, I was right. 600,000. So $633,000. So $633,600 a year. That's what you'll get from having $300,000. I'm sorry, if you make $300 an hour, giving you $2,400 a day, giving you $52,000 a month, giving you $633,000 a year. That's the bigger goal of every single human being that's an American citizen. And the power and economic power is in America, but our family, our friends, our social circles, it destroys us from being able to be in that position. It hurts us from being able to be in that business because we have the mind state of what have you done for me lately? So we can't even put ourselves in that situation because we're always trying to fight to survive to the next day, to the next week, to the next month. And that's what hurt us. Trust me, y'all, I'm not telling you nothing that I ain't living, okay? But I'm telling you, they're not, the social influencers, they're not going to tell you this. The podcasters are not going to tell you this. They want you to come into their Patreon. They want you to get into some psychological therapist session in order for them to try to even make you understand this. But I'm going to be blunt on this podcast. I'm going to be blunt on this little episode, this little rant that I'm doing with my iPhone, shaking in my hand, and I'm switching my hands around and stuff. No matter how crazy it looks, the substance of this is pretty powerful, okay? So I want you guys to have that mindset. So don't worry about the bigger goal. Remember, all you need to worry about for 10 to 15 to 20 years is finding a way to make $300 a day. Okay? $300 a day. $300, I say 300 to 600 because you should be able to have a girlfriend or a wife or a partner, a brother, a sister, a friend, and you guys all trying to figure out a way to buy boats and live a really good life, and sooner or later get yourself a good living arrangement, because I'm telling you guys, you are not going to be able to ever own a house that you could be proud of, that you could be secured in the home and and your neighbors and your family and your family coming over to eat and have a good time and just grow together. You're never going to be comfortable unless you're able to purchase a house that ranges from $400,000 to $800,000. That's how the market is now. I don't care who you are. There's no stepping stones. There's no leveling up in the real estate market no more. Not even in this economic market anymore. Is you could kind of raise up or level up or climb the corporate ladder. That stuff is over now. You got to figure out how to have economic value that at any given time you have buying power for $400,000 to $800,000 home. And the way that you do that is you got to find a way to make $300 a day. I say $300 to $600 a day. But $300 to $600 a day, that's giving you that you have a job that's giving you $37 to $75 an hour. That's giving you about $6,600 a month to $13,200 a month. So you'll be making. So let me make sure I'm clear with this, and forgive me if I'm reiterating too much, but I want to be clear. If you're having $37 to $75 an hour, that gives you about $300 to $600 a day. That gives you about $6,000 to $600 to $13,200 a month. That's giving you $79,000 to $158,000 a year. Okay? That's where we all should be at. I don't care where you are. Don't worry about what kind of job you have. You got to figure out multiple jobs like that, or you got to figure out some kind of way to get yourself in a position where when it totals up, you're doing $300 to $600 a day. It's hard because people have kids earlier than they probably wanted to or planned to, and they can't soak up 16 hours, almost 18 hours working and figuring out how to get that $300 to $600 a day. But I'm telling you, our society is broken, and the powers that be, your senators, your congressmen, your city council members, the government, celebrities, your favorite influencer, your favorite podcaster, your favorite celebrities, they don't care about you. They care about you burning a hole in your pocket for whatever their point is, whatever they want, however they want you to be. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. They don't care about the little $200 that you made, that you're able to pull off for this week, $300 that you're able to pull for this week, working a $15 an hour job and stuff like that. They don't care. They want you to spend that money on them to grow, and then they tell you, nah, you dusty, you broke, you a little engine that wish you could. And that's what they do with your money that you support them with. So what I need you guys to understand, so you can have power over them, power over everybody that's not good human beings, that don't have empathy, that doesn't have just a humanity about them. I'm sorry, y'all. A good society, we won't get that for another 40 years. Generation X, Generation Z, the millennials, we'll be dead and gone, or we'll be in our senior years before we get even see a glimpse of some pure respect and humanity going on in our society again. It's gone. It's all about the bag. It's all about leveling up. It's all about what have you done for me lately. So the best way I could tell you to protect yourself so you can get a little enjoyment out of this life is put yourself in a place where you're making $300 to $600 a day. That'll be $6,600 to $13,200 a month. $79,000 to $158 a year. That's the best I could tell you. Okay? It's bad. I'm telling you. Social influencers, I watch good people that I really like, that I really support and stuff, but the things that they say, it's always like they say one thing and then they contradict it in a way on another day or on another podcast. There's no consistency. There's no way that they communicate that will live in credibility later. So this is why I'm making this. Okay, what I'm telling you guys right now, it's gonna live well after I'm dead and gone. Okay? This is what we gotta do, y'all. Average people, this is what you gotta do. Because it's stuff that social influencers, real estate moguls, podcasters, level up culture people, the stuff that they saying to you may work for the 10 to 15% that's able to grab it and apply it and do it. Because they're in a place where they can even like mess with it and play with it. But they don't got a majority message for everybody. And the message for majority everybody, find a way to partner up with somebody. Partner with a few people, because I'm telling you, foreigners, immigrated, illegal immigrants, all of them, they come over here, they live 6, 8, 10 people in the house, and they do exactly what I'm talking about. And then they buy restaurants and stuff in suburbia, and they even buy liquor stores in the hood for the last 30, 40 years using this method. Okay? I'm not telling you to buy commercial real estate or build a restaurant and all that stuff. I'm just saying, find a way for you yourself, for your own gratification, for your own buying power, to get about $300 to $600 a day. Partner up with somebody, a girlfriend, a wife, a brother, sisters, whatever. I can't tell you your living situation and your situation. Find a way to make $300 to $600 a day. That's giving you $6,600, $13,000 to $13. Make sure I say this right. $6,600, $13,200 a month. That's giving you about $79,000 to $158,000 a year. That's gonna put you into a really good play. That's gonna help you find a way, if you possibly can, somewhere down the line, 10 to 20 years from now, or if you're in that situation where you need to right now convert over to it, it's going to make it where you can put yourself in a place where you can kind of start seeing a possibility of a way to make $300 an hour. That's the bigger goal. Right now, don't stress yourself about that. Stress yourself about making $300 to $600 a day. You got to try to figure that out. And your outcome will be $79,000 to $158. $79,000 to $158,000 a year. You gotta try to figure that out, okay? Because I'm telling y'all, I don't got no good news for you. I got no good news for you. This society is terrible. It's terrible. Like people that you used to grow up with, people that you used to like come into contact, that you work with, and not specific people, but in that close proximity, the type of people are like, if they ever got themselves in a good position, we all kind of almost dare to hurt people under us. And I'm telling you, that's the culture that we got here. And I'm sending this message out because I want to turn against that. I don't want that to be the game. I don't want that to be the game. I want at the least an average person find a way to make $300 to $600 to give us our true American actual ability. And that's what my message is. And I call this the master outcome. That's what I call it. Master outcome. And it's the outcome that works in any society. Meaning that if you were to do this, you could go to the Fortune 500 parties. You could go to the high-end suburban galas and commerce meetings and all that stuff. You don't need the millions of dollars. You don't need the hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. You need $300 to $600 a day to give yourself breathing room so you can buy suits, so you can pay off your debt, so you can kind of put yourself where you're kind of going to galas and going to meetings and commerce meetings to put yourself around the rooms of people that's doing it, that's living that life, that's kind of working, busting their ass, and they magnifying their economic position. Okay? In order for you to put yourself in around that environment, you need to have a consistency of that you're not stressing all the time, you're not sweating, you're not always fighting for your life. $300 to $600 put you in that situation. This is my message to everybody. There's no course correction to society right now. It's dead. We have a bad society. They're bad morals. It's degeneracy off the wazoo. Okay? It's a down the rabbit hole. And the way that you protect yourself from it is you got to put yourself where you're not fighting all the time, and you can start moving your chess pieces on the board a little bit more cautiously and strategically than you don't know what move to make, but you think this is the best move to make at this moment, but you don't know because you're not manipulating the person across from the table, that they're moving their chess pieces to what you're doing. So now they're kind of almost reacting to you. I think our whole culture, I say 80% of our population, and I say this in America because everybody is worse than us in the world. But in America, 80% of the population is reacting. You're just reacting. We all are reacting. What are you reacting to? That's what you got to ask yourself. What are you reacting to? You're reacting to some slithering, egomaniac, crazy, wild, ambitious people that's using your strength of buying power, of commerce, of consumption. They're using that power that you have and dogging you out for it, and you still go buy it. You know what I'm saying? So you had the Fortune 500 companies dogging you out for being a consumer, but they need you to be a consumer. Do you understand that? We have a lot of economic people out there, social influencer podcasters, dogging out like Walmart, Myers, stock shelf stockers and the cashiers and Popeye's chicken, like restaurant workers and McDonald's workers and stuff. You got our social influencers and our podcasters dogging these people out, treating them like totally disrespectful in innuendo comments or backhanded comments and stuff like that. And you need these people. We need these people. We social influencers and level up culture. And I call level up culture everybody that's judging the little people. The level up culture has where nobody should be working at McDonald's that's over the age of 20. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should be working at Walmart or Myers that's over the age of 20. They're not even using a logical mindset that's not even, it's not logical. That would never be logical. And they say, oh, well, you just got a small mind and you kind of thinking low level. No, I'm thinking what makes sense for the world to be functioning. Everybody do what they can and do what they can do. Everybody, you don't got to tell a person that's working at Burger King if it's a possible way that you can make $30. Find a way to do that. Don't just take this $15 that Burger King's giving you or McDonald's is giving you. Find a way to do it. You don't got to tell them that. They already thinking of that shit themselves. but their circumstances, the situation that they're in, they maybe had a baby when they were in their teens or whatever the situation is, whatever the economic situation is, whatever they come from, whatever their environment is, it put them in a situation where this is what they're doing, and they're able to kind of work it out and survive, and if they get enough room, they'll grow from it. They don't need you to judge them because they're in their 30s doing that, or their 40s doing it, or their 50s doing Walmart or Myers or something. They don't need people, wealthy people that's on podcasts and on the internet making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. They don't need you judging them. They busting their ass. They trying to come up with solutions and everything to expand themselves. They got to do it in their environment, in their situation, the best way they can. And they're fighting day to day, hour to hour to do it. They don't need piece of shit podcasters and social influencers tell them, level up, level up, level up. Don't even talk to no woman unless you got 6 figures. Don't even have a child unless you got 6 figures. They don't need you to tell them that stuff. So I'm telling y'all, I got no good news for you. The best way you're going to be able to fight back this stuff is you're going to have to try your best to make $300 to $600 a day. That's going to be able to put you in a place where you can ever see yourself getting a breathing room to expand yourself and put yourself in a place and put yourself in the rooms that you may be able to expand yourself to $300 an hour. Okay? I'm your host, Darius D. McKinney. This is Let's Talk Podcast. I'm sorry, I messed up my own podcast. This is Let's Talk Human Podcast. I'm your host, Darius D. McKinney, and I'll be back. I got to do a lot of stuff. I got another podcast I do called Individual Perspective. I got to do the 100 days, first 100 days of this presidency and all that good stuff and everything, but that's a whole nother situation. But also, I have about 6 films that I'm bringing out, and we'll be talking about that. It's a lot of stuff that I'm doing, okay? But at the same time, I'm trying to level up just like you guys are trying to level up. And I'm just asking you guys to don't take everything that social influencers or podcasters say to you, because it's going to confuse you. It's going to kind of make you not know what to do today. What to do today. It's going to confuse you. So if you want to know what you got to do today, if you want to know how you can make a move in your life, no matter what it is and how you do it, figure out a way to make $300 to $600 a day. That gives you the ability to make $600. See, I'm getting tired myself doing this. You get what I'm saying? Find a way, because they're not going to tell you this. And the social influencers are not going to tell you this. They're going to put you in their Patreon and their memberships and all the other seminars and all that bullshit to kind of get you to go. I don't care about the social influencers doing that. I'm not trying to hate on them doing it or cock block them from doing it. I'm just saying it's too much. It's too many. They do it for 15% of the people that is appealing to. What happens to the other 75% of the population that's just not in the mindset or they just don't see how to apply it? That's why I'm communicating this to you. The fight is against people you don't see that actually their business model is to keep you as a nothing. Keep you where you can't secure your own self. You can't get enough room and break from distractions to focus on how to be a person that you can stand up tall, have respect for yourself, and not be victimized to social influencers or podcasters or celebrities and all that crazy stuff. You gotta find a way to get $300 to $600 a day, okay? If you get $300 to $600 a day, that's gonna put you in a place where you make it $6,600 to $13,200 a month, okay? So $6,600 to $13,200 a month. You can get that from making $300 to $600 a day, and then you're making about $37 to $75, $37 to $75 an hour, okay? And I range that around 8 hours of work time and 22 days a month, okay? Because that's most likely with the outcome of people if they're kind of coming from a workforce, coming from the average scenario, okay? So you'll be working 8 hours a day, 22 days out of the month, and you're going to be making $37 to $75 a hour, giving you $300 to $600 a day, giving you $6,600 to $13,000 to $200 a month, giving you the outcome of $79,000 to $158,000 a year. That's the goal of everybody, and it's doable for everybody. It's not going to be easy for some because of certain living situations and environments that you're in and all that stuff like that. But let that be your fight. Let that be your fight. Okay? You got it in the what they not with that. I don't want you to go to a Patreon or anything, but how do you put yourself in a situation like that? You almost have to burn bridges with everybody. You almost have to isolate yourself completely if people are not on board. That's why I say you got to partner up with people that's in the same mindset, the same thought process that you are in, or where you're trying to go and what you're trying to accomplish. Because if they're not, then they're your enemy and they're in the way, and you need to detach yourself from them. That's how hardcore it is. Okay? So my name is Darius D. McKinney. This is Let's Talk Human podcast, and I'll see you guys soon. And I just wanted to give you this master mindset. I called it the master outcome because I think it's too much going on the internet trying to figure it out and all that stuff. What should I do? What should I do to buy this house? What should I do to get this loan and all that stuff? And most people are not going to be able to get a loan to change, make no changes in their life because their credit is bad or the situation is just, life has took a toll. So the best you're going to be able to do is level yourself up like this, okay? $300 to $600 a day. I'll check you guys out. Let's make it a ranging of $37 an hour, $37 to $75 an hour, $300 to $600 a day, $6,600 to $13,200 a month, $79,000 to $158,000 a year. That's that we all should be somewhat in a place to do that. I don't care if you're working at McDonald's or you're working at McDonald's and Burger King or working at McDonald's and Popeye's Chicken or some stuff like that. That's the best way I can say to you guys. And like I'm doing, I'm busting my butt. I'm trying to find a way to kind of get myself to a place where I can go battle the people that's running their mouth and they really giving you guys bad advice and obscure advice and misdirection advice, okay? My name is Darius D. McKinney. Let's Talk Human. This is what we do here. This is the conversations that we have here. I'm going to do panels. I'm going to do interviews, all that other stuff. Please hit the like, hit the follow. And if you guys can contribute, try to contribute to this podcast as best you can. I'm trying to expand. I'm trying to do really good work for you guys. And I don't want to do any paywall stuff like that. This is how we got to do it. Check you out.